What's up, traders? Today, I've got Tom and James here. We're going to go through a bunch of questions that you guys asked on Twitter and Instagram. So sit back and enjoy today's Funded Trader Q&A. What's going on, traders? Welcome back. Today, we're going to move through a bunch of questions from you guys on Instagram and Twitter. Over the last couple of days, I posted and said that I was going to be sitting down with Tom and James, and we wanted to gear these questions specifically around getting funded, specifically towards two guys who have been crushing it in ASFX this year. James coming off some huge payouts last month, and Tom leaving his 9-to-5 and going full-time on his trading. So we're really excited to have both of you guys here. They've both been joining me for a lot of content, and I think you guys are going to find a lot of value in today's video. But before we get into the Q&A, I want to let you know we've got a link in the description. You can go to www.asfx.biz/BSC. That stands for Black Shirt Club. Tom, James, and myself are now taking enrollment for the next 12-week coaching program starting in September. So if you want to work closely with us to improve your trading, we have an entire workbook that we put you through, daily report cards, weekly report cards, and you're going to see a lot of those things from us in our future videos. We're going to be putting out content to kind of show you guys what you get in the Black Shirt Club. But if you're interested, enrollment is open. We only have now 12 spots. 3 people have already joined before we even, unveiled this thing. So it's very exciting. So if you're interested, the link is in the description. But boys, are we pumped for September? Are we pumped for this video? How are we feeling?
We are pumped. I cannot wait for September.
Yeah.
I feel like James is super excited, only because now with him, he's probably the only guy that I've ever worked with that trades extremely well, but doesn't always like talking about trading. But now that you have your daily report card and your weekly report cards and all these templates to show people your process, I feel like it's going to make it a lot easier for you, right, James, to coach people and get them inside the head.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm more like, I do the things, but I need to get better at my processes like after trading hours. So that's definitely, and Tom with the daily report cards is going to help a lot.
It's funny with the daily report cards, we all have seen like, I'm having a great week this week, but I've made trading errors every single day. And I think that that's something that most people won't get to that point in their trading career. They're going to quit. They're going to run out of money before they get to that point, unfortunately, of saying, hey, even though I'm doing well, what can I be doing to get better? And then those guys that do that, like us, and like what we're trying to do with the Black Shirt Club, that's how you really take it to the next level and do what you guys are doing, multiple funded accounts and everything like that. So good. Let's get into the video. Let's move into this. So we've got questions from Instagram. We've got questions from Twitter. People wanted to know some things that really didn't have anything to do with trading. So we're going to steer away from the question whether Tom wants blondes or brunettes. We're going to, like I said, focus them around getting funded and things like that. So first question, we'll throw it at you, Tom. Do you trade every single session or just a specific one?
So I don't trade every single session. I've got 2 main sessions which I trade. I trade the London Open, but I'll get on the desk from 7 a.m. UK time till around about 11 a.m. UK time. And then I'll come back, have a bit of a break in between the day because I've been on for sort of 4 or 5 hours. And then I'll come back for the New York session. So I'll come back on at about 1 p.m. UK time, get the start of the US Open, and then I'll trade and finish around about 4 o'clock UK time.
That's still a lot of hours at the desk. It's good amount of hours.
Still a few hours.
Yeah. What about you, James?
Yeah, I'm kind of like the same. So I think Tom's kind of copied me with the hours there. So yeah, I'm on around about 8 o'clock my time till about 12 my time, South African time, me being in South Africa. And then I'm on that's for the London session, and get some good moves on the GBP pairs, of course, because I mostly focus on the pound pairs. And then the US indices for the New York session I'll get on around like an hour before the open, and then I'll trade until about an hour and a half, 2 hours after the open has finished.
One thing I would like to add to what both of you just said is when you are trying to figure out what hours to trade for someone listening, of course, it's dependent upon what other stuff you have going on in your life. But now with you guys both being full-time with me and we're at the desk all of these hours, you've been able to find those little gaps in the day to get off the desk and go set that time off to kind of reset and then come back in super focused. And I love that, because I think if I lived in a different area, like in your time zone, I would do the same thing. So I really, really love that you both spoke about the time off the desk in the middle of the day, where you can either decide to come back and keep trading, decide to stop trading and review the day, like whatever. I think that that's super awesome. And people struggle with trying to find what time zone to trade. So it's, I think, first and foremost, when can you be at the desk, but then also what you're trading. So let's go a little bit more specific for both of you now. Tom, what are you trading most right now in those hours? And what are you adjusting? What do you adjust what you're looking at different times of the day? Could you speak to that at all?
Yeah, so I definitely focus on the euro and pound pairs in the morning first thing. And that's where I'll put most of my focus. It's mainly on the forex side of things, up until around about 11 a.m., like I said. And I've found that I have to take that break in the middle of the day, because if I sit there for too long and I've not taken a trade, I know personally I can get a little bit itchy and start to pull the trigger on trades I shouldn't. Right. So I've had to put that in there to stop me from going off the rails a little bit after sitting there for 8 or 9 hours. But then in the afternoon, I will definitely change I still keep an eye on the euro and the pound pairs, but then I also start to bring it in like the indices and maybe some of the USD pairs. So we're just moving along with the time frames around the world.
Yeah. Do you do anything different than that, James? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I'm mostly focused on, as you guys know, mostly GJ, GU, and the 3 US indices, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. So that's what I'm mostly focused on.
Is it the same thing with like Forex in the morning, shifting into indices into New York? Is that the way that you look at it?
Not really. I actually have found some good trading opportunities on the US indices before market open, like during the London session, for example. Like I have found some great opportunities there. I found that the market structure is respected quite nicely, because you don't have the big volume coming in from the open. The stock market in America is closed, so you can get some nice reads. As I know, Tom's also been playbooking some of those before the open as well.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you that don't know what playbooking is, that's another plug for the Black Shirt Club. It's something we have all of our guys do. It's generate trade ideas, not necessarily trades that you have to be involved in, but create ideas, see if they're winners and see if they're losers. Where are the patterns presenting? And I feel like that's been a big help to all three of us, really just being able to playbook ideas and then adjust and adapt in whatever the market gives you. So let's transition into a specific question for you, James. This came from Instagram.
Sure.
A lot of questions about this, because they know that you've gotten some big payouts. They know that you have been trading really well with the high win rate. So the question is, how come he is satisfied with 1.5 R a day? Because I really want to get to that level of satisfaction too. So could you speak to that?
Sure. Yeah, I think satisfaction. So I think it also trading more capital helps you. Like that 1.5 R can be quite a decent amount of capital and capital gains when you are trading a bigger trading account. So I think that's where the satisfaction helps. But I think it shouldn't matter if you're trading even a smaller trading account, or even a demo, just to practice that. I think if you can consistently get like 1.5 R, I think Tom posted this other day with one of the guys from S&P. If you can consistently make 1.4 R, 1.5 R with like a 60% win rate, 40% win rate, you're doing a lot better than you actually think. So I think for me it was, if I can consistently win at like 70% plus, right, and get a consistent win rate of close to just 1 R, I'm going to make money in the long term. It's just the pure maths. It's the maths the maths make sense. It shows me that I'm going to make money over the long term. So I don't care if I'm missing out on moves. I know that over long term, it's going to make me money, and that's all I care about.
It's an interesting perspective, and I think it works for you. What do you think, Tom? You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think James is probably one of the best at snagging and bagging. I think he said it's just that relationship between risk reward and his win rate percentage, and it works for James, and that's what he's stuck with, and he just compounds his percentage gains over time. So I don't think there's any reason to change that. I think he's got it down to what suits him.
Well, like it's about, what are you doing? Are you trading to make money? Or are you trading to get a big 10R trade and post a picture about it and make everybody think that you're a millionaire? If you're trading to make money, you do what James said. You do math. You figure out what's your win rate and what's the risk reward that you need for that win rate to be profitable. Once you've got that, you just play out the numbers. It's actually kind of crazy because I think if you truly understand what we're talking about, you would agree how Bellafiore and a lot of guys have said you could throw random positions into the market, and with proper risk management and understanding position sizing, you could be profitable. And it's almost that. I almost fully believe that. If not, I do fully believe that. So yeah. Great answers from both of you. Okay, let's transition. I got a specific question. This is from our buddy Mike Prince on Twitter and on Instagram. He's always following us. Big Mike, bro. Mike's nice with the bass. Have you seen, bro, his videos with the bass?
He is. I have seen it.
I know, it's sick. All right, so Mike wants to know specifically for Tom. He said, how do you manage your profits? Do you keep all of it in one account to compound it? Have you saved a buffer to live off of? Do you take a percentage out to live off of and keep a percent in the account, whether it's funded or personal? He just kind of wants like a financial management question, or maybe even if you can gear it towards the psychology of managing money that you make from a funded account.
So I think first of all, you have to have your personal finances in order. I would say that's probably imperative before you start trading or trying to get trading. The psychology of having to make money or needing to make money adds so much pressure on your trading that it's not conducive to good trading, I would say. So definitely get that buffer in place. Definitely get the debts out the way first before you start potentially losing money that you can't afford to lose. So don't go down that route. But then I think in terms of taking profits from the funded accounts, it's just, you've got to get it putting into your own account, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. I think you've got to try and find that protection for yourself. We don't know whether they're going to be around in 5 years. We hope they are, obviously, and they're going to get better and more competitive to help us as retail traders, but we never know. So I would be taking profits out of them when we make them and putting them into our own capital. And that would be my advice, I think.
Well said. James, you want to add anything or?
Yeah, I think even some of the money that I get from the funded accounts, so some of it, a percentage of it, I actually put into a more long-term investing account as well with my private banker as well. So I'm not like putting everything in my personal account. I actually am also putting in, I've got some things that I want to save up for the future, maybe engagement on the card, stuff like that. So other things that I got, just to put into like a, that money's there. I'm not actually actively trading it. It's not being risked every single day if I'm trading my personal account as well. So yeah, it's just about being smart with your money. I think that's what Anthony Crudeli also said on our podcast. He said, get something on the side that you're passionate about as well, and maybe invest in some endeavors like that to protect that capital too.
I mean, it's really easily said with, if you're trying to live with the money that's in your trading account, you're not normally going to trade well. It's never really worked well for people. So you want to have those other things squared away, whether it's a 6-month or a 1-year safety net for whatever you need. You know what I mean? And like, I really like James's answer about having something else to put the money into, whether it's Bitcoin for the long term, whether it's an ETF or an investment fund, whatever, but having a long term. I think that most people put off that too much, and I think as you get older, you start to realize it's a good thing I started doing that. It's a good thing I'm doing that. You know what I mean? So I think that it's a great answer. Well said. Yeah. Here's a good question for both of you. Tom, you want to take the first one on this? What is your biggest fear in trading?
Wow, what a question. Ooh, I feel like that one could get the cogs ticking for a while. What's my biggest fear in trading? So I think for me, it's probably not living up to my potential. And not, so say if something went wrong or I stopped trading, could I look back and think I gave it my all? I think that's probably one of my biggest fears. If I failed and everything went to shit, and at the end of the day, I could reflect and think, well, I could have done better here. I could have done that better. I think that's probably my biggest fear, especially now I've took the leap to sort of quit the 9 till 5. It's a little bit scary. There's a risk, but now if I fail, I don't want to look back and think, yeah, I could have done more. So I think that's probably my biggest fear in trading.
Great answer.
Is it related to trading? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, bro, definitely relates to trading.
100%.
I think it's a fear that most people have at some point in their life. You being the older of the three of us, like, it makes sense that that's something you think about maybe a little bit more than James,
Yeah, definitely.
Not saying that you're dying tomorrow, old man. Go ahead, James. What's your biggest fear in trading?
I think my biggest fear is I think it's mine. Maybe this could be. It's slightly different to Tom, but it's not exactly the same. But mine would be letting myself and the people that believed in me from the start down. That's mine. So not necessarily living up to my potential. That could be that's a bit different. But mine would be letting the people that believed in me from the start down. For myself, Amanda, you, Austin, and yeah, just not. They've invested a lot of time, energy into me and my trading, and believed in me through the ups and the downs. And I think just not paying them back with doing my best every single day.
It's another really good answer. It's similar. What were you gonna say, Tom?
I was going to say, so you can't get off the hook on this one. I want to hear your answer as well to this. We've both been put on the spot, so without knowing that question coming, so I hope you've got a good answer lined up for this one.
Oh, well, I think both of you mentioned things that all of us fear with enough awareness. If anyone has any type of self-awareness, of course, you never want to get to a point in your life in the future where you look back and you say, damn, I could have went harder. I could have done more. That regret is the worst thing. But why is regret the worst thing? It's because time is really the most valuable thing that we're all playing for, not money. Money isn't the most valuable currency. So I think my biggest fear is very similar. I would agree with both of you. Don't want to let the people down that supported me and that believed in me. Don't want to let myself down. I think, okay, here could be a good one. It's not a trading fear though, but just a fear for someone like me. The intensity and the drive that I bring to what I'm doing, where I can show up every day pretty consistently. I don't get sick too often. I don't miss days that often unless I got something going on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very hardworking and disciplined and consistent. I hope that doesn't waver as I become more successful and I become older. I don't want to lose that. So that's a fear, because it's easy. It's what happens to most people. So there's a good answer for you, Tom. You like that?
Yeah, I do. Completely. Yeah. I think they were all great answers. I really like
great
James's
answers
as well.
All right, beautiful. Let's go on. I got a couple other good ones here. Did either of you read trading books, maybe one or two that stand out to help either educate or motivate? Doesn't have to be one or the other. Doesn't have to be both.
Specifically trading.
Specifically trading. Yeah, if you could. Any books that help with trading execution, education, and motivation? That's what the question is. Yeah.
I think for me, I think the best trading book that I've read is, and I've read it a couple of times, is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I think that's a really good book. It focuses basically on the process of, like, he actually has an exercise at the end of the book that you got to focus on the next 20 trades. Did you follow your plan for the next 20 trades? So it talks about just taking each trade as comes the process. Yeah, don't worry about the outcome. If you got a mathematical edge in the markets, just follow the process, and that will play out over time.
Did you read any of? Doesn't he have books?
I've not. He's got the Discipline Trader, and I think he's just got the Discipline Trader. I've got that book actually on my Mac here, but I have not read it. Okay. Probably I should. That's probably the best book that I have. Yeah, exactly.
You're too busy playing golf, bro. Go ahead, Tom. What do you got for books? we all know James ain't reading that much. And I can only say that because I'll admit that I ain't reading that much either. Come on, man.
No, me either at the minute. Looking at my habit tracker that I've got going on. That's the one I keep slipping on.
In the reading, bro, reminds you of elementary school. It's like you're fucking going back to the grade school.
I know. So I think I've got two. I'm being greedy. I'm going to have two. One Good Trade by Mike Bellafiore is the first one. And then the second one is The Daily Trading Coach by Brett Steenbarger.
Good one.
Or Dr. Brett Steenbarger. They're the two for me. Retail traders that have helped.
It's doctor to you, brother. Yeah, no, that's good, bro. Those are really good ones. I think we always recommend those, though. And since we are not avid readers, it's not going to be that we have new books all the time to pull out to give to you guys, but I will do this for you really quick. What I've been doing is saved up a couple of Audible credits because I had a couple of books on my wish list that I wanted to just get and then be able to cycle through them. And one of them that I really liked, I had to look up the name of it. It's Trend Commandments by Michael Covell, who wrote The Turtle Traders, who wrote Trend Following, right? All that. Like, he's written a bunch of trading books. He did this for Audible only. So you got to go on Amazon. You got to get this off Audible. It's 10 hours long. This is not like a short little thing he just randomly did for some reason. It's Audible only though. So it's really interesting. It's Trend Commandments. So I've been working on that one. I'll plug another one, The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler, Tendler. He's on Twitter too. Super cool guy. I love that one. And then I think I don't know if you read this one, Tom, Mindset Secrets to Winning, How to Bring Personal Power to Everything You Do, Mark Minaviri. That's Mark's motivation
I've
book.
done it.
That's like the best trading / motivation book that you can recommend, because it's not like too heavy on the charts, but it's revolving around trading mindset. So cool. There's some books for you, everybody. Head to your local Barnes and Noble if they still exist. All right, let's move to a couple more really quick rapid fire round. How many instruments will you look at max on a daily basis, Tom?
8.
Look at that quickness with that answer, James.
5.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because you had even less than that until this week when we put the Euros on there, right? So it's like very small watch list. So for the person who asked this question, and I would say mine is 8, 10 at max. I will experiment sometimes with some other forex pairs, but my main watch list is small because you fall into routine. And it could also be in part that we do really well right now with the indices and the bear market and everything like that. And that's why they are working for us. But I think it's more important to fall in line with pairs and not be trying to chase the whole market around. People will this is how you're in the right spot. You want people to say to you, hey, James, I know you don't trade this pair, but can you look at this for me? That's how people know, like you're sticking to your list. People will say to me, Robin said it to me the other day. He's like, I know you don't look at AUD USD, but can you pull that up? So like, and I will, of course you still will, but it's like, you almost want to be known for trading these certain things, but also be willing to branch out. Like I wasn't in Bitcoin 2 years ago, but the last 2 years I have been, so yeah. All right. Ready for this one? The final question. It's a good one. I'm not able to hold my trades due to my previous losses, which normally it says here come from over trading. So how can I overcome that? How can I overcome over trading? And then how can I also overcome not taking trades because of previous losers? It's a 2-part question. Let's take it first part at a time. Tom, you want to take a whack?
So how can I overcome over trading?
Yeah. How can I stop doing that?
First of all, read the book that I've just plugged, One Good Trade.
Exactly. Yep. Read
that one will help with that one. So that's that covered. So from my experience, I've suffered with overtrading.
Yeah.
And what I did to overcome overtrading was by logging every single trade that I was taking. It was a lot easier to identify that poor graded trades were costing my trading business money.
Low probability trades.
So low probability trades. So I was taking more trades, but some of them were lower probability. And it wasn't until I went and journaled and reviewed my trading journal that said, if I just cut out these lower probability trades and took less trades, I'd be more profitable. And then when I tried that for a month and I took maybe a third of the trades that I took, I made more money. And it wasn't until I could see it in like that hard sense in front of me, the numbers don't lie kind of thing, that my mindset started to change and shift to be like, right, or something, there's some legwork in this. To only take the high probability trades, take less of them, but probably hit them with a bit bigger size because you don't need to take any bad trades. That's what helped me with my over trading. I think that was probably the most pivotal part in my journey.
So having a way to document and analyze the trades, but also specifically, you mentioned something that's even more important, I would say, is having a grading system. If you can start to grade your trades based on the way you know how to read a chart. So like if you take our courses or you come into the Black Shirt Club and take the courses, we would teach you how to grade. This is a high probability A setup. This is a low probability C setup. And if you can do that, you'll start to differentiate between high and low probability trades, knowing I don't want to really be in those low probability trades. And if you're a really picky trader, that guy Lance that was talking in that video was saying, I will grade trades and playbook them as C trades, but I won't trade them because I'm really picky. I don't want to be involved in a low probability trade. Could I make money? Sure, but I don't want to lose. It's about preserving capital. So I think you can overcome over trading when your mindset shifts from I have to make every dollar to I have a arsenal of money to deploy in the market and I need to preserve it. But people don't come from that perspective because they're trading $100 account. But if you're trying to get funded, or you like we are, you scale up and you get 600K, more than that, you're going to come from a way different perspective, from a perspective of preservation, saving that money, getting it in the game at low risk, high probability situations. So you need a grading system. Is there anything you want to add to that, James, as far as overcoming over trading, not over trading?
So that was one of my big hurdles when I first joined ASFX, was over trading. And I think what helped me was, and I think you always say this is like, it's not like we don't do it. Sometimes like I could take, more trades in a day than maybe I should. And sometimes I end up winning, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, this is, something that maybe it happens like once or twice a month, but it can still sometimes happen. I think one thing for me, over trading helped me a lot is cutting down the watch list. That's the first thing, because now if you have 5 instruments that you're trading instead of 26, now, when you got all those buttons, those numbers flashing at you on TradingView, you're like, shit, I need to be involved in one of them. You're going to find a way to be involved in one of the 26 instruments that you trade. But if you got 5 and there's nothing clear cut on them, you're going to be like, dope, I'll come back tomorrow. So I think that's one thing that has helped me a lot with my over trading, is cut down that watch list. Be very selective on what instruments you wanting to trade, what you trade best, what you like to trade, what moves the best, and that's going to save you time from trying to find a trade.
Great answer. I think when you cut down the watch list, you also have to be okay with having the no trade days. A lot of people struggle with over trading because this could have been a whole video in itself in this question, but over trading is they have to place a trade. They got to get in the game. They can't just walk away, like you said. So it's like a psychological thing too, of you saying, I'm going to be good with not playing today. If there's nothing good, I'd rather save. I want
to just add to that as well, is like when you have a good watch list of, like, say 5 instruments, for example, you become in flow and in sync with that watch list, and you can identify, okay, cool. If I'm like, for me in the forex side of things, I only really trade GU, GJ. If I'm like, okay, cool, this is like kind of in a range today, and I'm not going to take any trades on it today because it doesn't fit my playbook, my style. You get rewarded on the days where things just trend, and you can find multiple entries and get in and out of the market, and and you'll crush those days. So I think that helps a lot as well.
Very well said. All right, boys. I think this has been good. We crushed most of the questions. A couple of duplicates were in there, so we didn't need to go back over it. Again, I'm going to just promote a little plug for the Black Shirt Club. If you guys want to work closely with me, Tom, and James, starting in September, hit the link in the description or go to asfx.biz/BSC. This is not the only program. These programs run every 12 weeks. We will be running them into next year. So if you don't get into September, we can get you into the next program. And if you have any questions, go to that link and book a free call with me. I'll hop on the phone with you. We'll hop on Zoom and I'll answer any questions you have. But Tom, James, I appreciate you guys as always. I'm sure that the audience does. And if you guys have any questions, if you watched all the way through, make sure you put those in the comments and we'll get them in our next round. I'll make sure that I ask the guys in one of our next videos. But boys, until next time, everybody, thank you very much.